But if you have extra cash in another account that you can use to pay those medical costs, let that HSA account invest it and let it grow for your future. Nick,
Mr. Scott,
welcome to another episode.
another day.
Real Personal Finance at this horrible office location.
It's the worst, personally. I can't think of another place I'd rather be.
Welcome to my mobile office. This is where I get work done when I'm not meeting with clients. Although I met with clients the other day.
Is you
Really? In the mobile office, yes. Because we're a big fan of everyone living their best life, and mine is at a beach.
Yes. Shoes optional. Shoes optional.
Yes, no shirt, no shoes, no problem. Today, speaking of work, it's going to be employee benefits time. Open enrollment's coming.
I was going to say, as the season turns from summer to fall, college football, sports, football season's here. Go Buffalo. Fall, that means open enrollment.
Yeah, it's coming. So with it coming, we want to walk you guys through the things that we commonly look at for our clients, and the questions that we'll be asking them to help them consider their benefits with the goal of don't leave money on the table. Make sure that you're putting all of those benefits to work for you.
And it's a lot. It's a big packet. It's scary. There's a lot to go through. But I think with the premise of not leaving money on the table, how do we break it down topic by topic, section by section, figure out what it means to you, maximize your benefit, and put money back in your pocket?
Exactly. It doesn't need to be scary. All right, let's just start with the biggest thing that people have to deal with. It kind of is scary, even to me. When I look at it for clients, I'm kind of dreading having to look at it. And that's health insurance.
It's a big one.
Some employers will give you 18 options. It's like going to the toothpaste aisle for the first time.
There's a lot there. And a lot of times it doesn't make sense. It's written in a different language, premiums, deductibles, out of pocket, which plan, what's a high deductible. There's a lot to go through.
Yes, but I think let's break it down really into its basics.
Yeah.
Usually there's two options that we think are going to make the most sense for clients to look at fairly deeply. One is everyone's kind of familiar now with this thing called a high deductible, high premium plan that comes with this thing called a health savings account.
Yep.
And so the idea there is I'm going to pay less in premiums than I'm going to pay in the traditional healthcare plan.
So my paycheck's bigger.
Yep. But I'm going to pay more in deductibles.
Right.
And then there's going to be some out-of-pocket max number. Now, deductibles plus all the other costs I pay outside of the premiums. So deductibles and all the other costs add up to this thing called an out-of-pocket max.
Yep.
So what we care about for clients is we're going to look at what's your premium going to be for the year, the annual number, what's the total max out-of-pocket you're going to have to pay. So you can get some semblance of where you might head.
Between those two numbers.
Yeah.
Right.
And then we can go do the same thing on a more traditional plan. Maybe it's a more traditional PPO plan where you get to go pick your doctors and have little co-pays and you don't pay a big deductible. You're going to have, again, a premium you're going to pay.
And it's going to be higher, most likely.
Yep. And you're going to have a deductible with those little co-pays included, and it's going to get you your max out of pocket. So again, we want to know what's max out of pocket plus the premiums to kind of compare the two. Then you can add in that you do get to technically save on taxes if you fund your full HSA fully. So there could be a little calculus to do there if you want to. I'm not saying you have to.
Right. And your employer's probably, not everybody, they're going to give you a match, most likely, to your HSA. So some free money to kind of help fund those higher expenses because your premium, again, is going to be lower. You're going to have to pay more of it out of pocket through the form of higher deductibles. Right. But I always like to look at too, once we run those numbers, well, what's our life going to look like 6-12 months from now?
So smart. Because it's not just about the numbers. It's about what's my health like overall right now?
Right.
If I'm going into a period of my life, maybe I'm in a high deductible plan right now. And it's almost January, and I think I'm going to have the same health issues, maybe big health bills coming up in the next year. I might want to flip to the more traditional plan.
Yeah, you see these bags under my eyes? I'm a dad now, 6 months in, and we did the exact same thing. We knew, hey, we're pregnant, now coming in.
You're pregnant?
I'm pregnant, right? I knew you were going to catch me on that. You cheated all the way, yes.
You're support.
I'm support, yes. And we knew going into open enrollment, hey, our life's going to look a lot different going into 2025.
Right.
I think we're going to change our health insurance option. And we're so glad we did. Those hospital bills were crazy.
Yeah.
But we wore higher premiums initially.
Yep.
knowing that, well, this is going to save us in the long run, and we'll figure out come this season what that's going to look like.
Right. And then like once you're through that phase of life, if you guys are both insanely healthy, because I know who you are as human beings, and hopefully little man is too. And if that's the case, you might want to flip back to doing a traditional, the higher deductible, higher premium plan to help save overall healthcare costs.
Absolutely.
And you're kind of just playing a game of like, do we have big costs this year? And we have to weigh that arbitrage.
Yeah. But regardless, a good exercise to get in as the fall approaches of like, okay, let's look ahead. And the nice thing is if you're with the same employer year after year, you can kind of anticipate what your coverage benefits are going to be. And it makes, if you've done the arithmetic on it from a prior year, it makes the decision a little easier going into it, because most things don't change. It is important to read those plans, certainly. But as you change jobs, your benefits are probably going to change. So it's helpful to read through that. But this time of year, good thing to go through.
Yeah. So what's your health like overall right now? What do you see in the year ahead? And then compare those annual premiums with those max out of pockets to get a sense of like, which way do I want to go?
Yeah. And we talked a little bit about like just the power of the HSA account.
Yeah. Which is where we should go next. Because if you're going to be in a high deductible, high premium account and you're with us, with either of us, we're probably going to tell you, hey, let's max that sucker out.
Right.
And let's not use it to fund our health needs if we don't need to.
Absolutely.
But if you need to, go for it.
Yeah.
Because you put money away tax-free. You can take money out tax-free for medical costs. But if you have extra cash in another account that you can use to pay those medical costs, let that HSA account invest it and let it grow for your future. You can use it. We've talked about it in previous episodes. You can use it for medical premiums when you're retired. You can use it for any medical need when you're retired.
I got to go back and pull this one up, but I thought there was a caveat that once you hit 59 and a half, I thought you could use it for almost anything non-qualified. Is that
you can because you can treat it like an IRA.
I think a lot of people overlook that.
Yeah.
And the nice part about this, regardless of your income, much like a 401k, contributions into it are fully tax deductible.
Right.
So it lowers that AGI. We like that. Yeah. It's just another incentive to save for retirement, for future healthcare costs, whatever it is.
Well, and oftentimes you'll see some employers will make a contribution if you participate in that plan. So that kind of comes into the calculus of what am I paying for premiums of my traditional plan versus my HSA? I kind of want to back out that number of that calculation because now you're getting, in a sense, free money.
Yep.
Yeah.
And it's one of our favorite accounts once people retire to go into retirement with, because it's just another IRA. It's another vehicle that you have to pull distributions from that you could choose to use, again, for healthcare or for everyday living expenses that you got a tax pickup or savings along the way while you're saving.
Exactly.
Cover that one?
Yeah. From there, we'd probably go straight to like 401k. Just make sure you're using it. Make sure you're getting a match. Make sure you're optimizing it. There's like little nuances to know about now for retirees and pre-retirees. Well, for pre-retirees, pardon me, if you're retired, you don't care about your 401k anymore. But the main thing is that they tweaked the numbers on the catch-ups if we're in your early 60s.
Well, the nice thing, similar to an IRA, right? Once you hit age 50, you have your first traditional catch-up.
Right, which is just 7,500.
Numbers change every year with inflation, give or take. But then I think what you're getting at was with the passing of the newest tax legislation, one big beautiful bill. I think it's from, is it 62 to 65?
60 to 63.
60 to 63.
I do 1.5 times 7,500, so it's 11,250.
It is.
Yeah,
it is, which is interesting. And sometimes your plan will have an automatic provision that allows you just to kind of step up and fill that number to its fullest. But other times you got to search for it, talk to your payroll or HR to make sure you're hitting that number. But again, when we're on the topic of free money on the table, and you're over the age of 50, or in this case, in your 60s, you may have a little extra that you didn't know about.
Yeah. I mean, there's some more nuances in there that we're not even going to dive into today. On catch-ups, it also has to do with your income level, on whether it's considered pre-tax or after-tax. But just know that you can do it, and it's worth looking into doing if you have the cash flow to do it.
Yeah, and then also with, 401ks, most employers now are providing two different avenues. A Roth 401k, which didn't used to be the case.
Right.
And now a pre-tax.
Yeah, it's commonplace.
Is that what that phrase is?
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, commonplace.
Commonplace.
Well, but to add to what you're saying, another thing is if you guys have extra cash flow as you're kind of working toward retirement, a lot of a lot of plans year over year are now finally rolling out mega backdoor Roths.
That's a good one.
So you can actually, because we're talking about a normal contribution for you. The previous episode on this is what is it, 23,500 right now, and then 7,500 for a catch up. But the total number that you can put away between you, your employer, and not the catch up is something like $70,000.
Yeah.
So it's something to the effect of like 46,500 you could be putting into an after tax account and then converting it into a Roth if it's allowed. So just another thing for you to look at while you're doing your employee benefits and seeing like, is this something I want to do? And if this is too much for you, just reach out and we'll help you with it. It's that simple. All right, from there, how about FSAs? And let's talk about FSAs in two ways. We'll talk about just a traditional FSA for health, and then we'll talk about dependent care.
Yeah, I like to look at the FSA more so as a use it or lose it. So it's a little different than, I'd say it's cousin, sister, whatever analogy you want to, connect it to, but it's very similar to the health savings account that we spoke about earlier. This one's called the FSA, which stands for Flexible Savings Account, right? Or spending account rather.
Yeah.
And correct me if I'm wrong with like kind of the deductibles and why one would be better than the other. Then the big caveat that I walk clients through is that similar to the HSA, we could save into it. I believe it's on a pre-tax basis.
Yep.
Right. You get your tax deduction at space. But the big difference is that by December 31st of each year, you got to spend it down to its last dollar. Otherwise, you lose the full benefit and the account goes to zero and starts over at the beginning of the calendar year.
Yes, and fully agree with what you're saying. Just tiny little caveats. They usually allow something like $500 to be rolled over to the next year.
Okay.
So they don't make you, they're not like, dude, yeah, $4.50.
Done.
It's going back to the insurance company or whoever it goes to. And then the other one is you can actually use both. So you can have an HSA and an FSA, but an FSA will have specific use cases if you have an HSA. Okay. So it gets very, very detailed then. Traditionally, we will see clients use an FSA if they're in a traditional health insurance plan because they don't get access to the HSA. So then it can be a great use there.
Yeah. So a little different, some nuance there. It's not going to be mainly a vehicle that we're thinking about later on down the road for retirement planning and having an extra asset, but still, for the purposes of healthcare and tax savings in that year, still a great option.
Totally. So the next one I would look at is life insurance and disability insurance. Sometimes you'll see like AD&D, accidental death and dismemberment. These are things that we see for clients. Normally, there's a base that they'll get that'll be like you get X times your salary of life insurance. You might be able to ask for more if you want. If you don't already have life insurance that's appropriate for you to make sure the family's okay, if something were to happen to you, this can be a good place to go if they don't require underwriting during open enrollment.
That's the key right there.
Especially as we get older in our years, sometimes we start to have more healthcare needs that would make it very hard for us to be underwritten in the private market. So I would definitely look at that. Disability, ideally, they have disability already paying for you. It should be included in your benefits traditionally. One of the things you can look at is sometimes they will ask you, do you want us to pay for this as a pre-tax expense for you or a post-tax expense for you? The answer that I would give to you if it was me talking to most people is I would choose to pay for it with post-tax money. The reason we do that is if you pay for a premium with post-tax money, the benefit that you get from the insurance company will not be taxed. If you pay for an insurance premium with pre-tax money, the benefit that you get from them will be taxed.
So that's a big difference, especially if you were out of work and you need every single dollar to pull from that plan.
Yes. So what we want to see is like traditionally they'll have coverage something like 60% of your salary. It might cap at some amount, but we want to make sure ideally for you that's going to be post-tax money so that if you do become disabled while in your final years, you can still receive that up through when you hit Social Security or whatever the provisions are for that plan.
Totally. And with the life and disability, I look at it in a couple different categories. It's nice to have, right? I look at that as a value add or just some nice benefits. With the life insurance, to your point, traditionally speaking, if you don't already have a policy or underwriting is going to be really expensive, it's a great place to go because you don't have to go through underwriting.
Yeah.
Traditionally, and for clients that are a little younger, or just depending on where they fall, it's not a great option. You could take the free amount, but know it's probably going to be more affordable and you get to carry it with you rather than losing it
yes.
when you leave.
Yes.
Right. And then sometimes it doesn't cover a whole lot. Yes, you can, with the rates, look at 1x times salary, 2, 3, 4, all the way up to maybe 8 or 10.
Right.
With the disability, the other thing I would say too is it gets you a part of the way there traditionally. And you want to look at, well, when does this begin to pay out? What are my elimination, dates? How long must I go? And how much is it going to pay? To your point, 60%. So we'd also want to look at, when we're going through those benefits, if it gets us part of the way there, does it make sense having a plan outside of that we control and own that gets us, fully covered?
Right. No, and I fully agree with that. And when you're younger, especially, we are all on board with that, because the younger you are and the healthier you are, getting life insurance and disability insurance doesn't cost nearly as much. For every year we get older, we're more likely to die. So the cost of insurance goes up, even though it's still relatively cheap. Disability insurance, because we make more money and we are more likely to have a problem, becomes more and more expensive. So yeah, definitely worth looking at in detail. The other one that I think you want to look at, especially if you have kids who are still under your care, or if you have, because it actually can go the other way with the sandwich generation, if you have a parent or loved one that you are paying for them to have dependent care, you can get what's called a dependent care FSA. And so a dependent care FSA is another flexible spending account. We can put money in pre-tax. I believe the number's 5,000. Don't quote me on that. 5,500, somewhere in that range. It always goes up with inflation. And we can go ahead and use those funds to pay for after school activities. We can use, if we have a loved one who goes to a senior center during the day, so we can go to work. It can help pay for that.
It's a nice option to have.
Yeah,
absolutely.
To have that, you do need, if you're a couple, you both need to be working in order to get that benefit. If one of you's not working, you technically shouldn't have that benefit. The idea is you both have to be working. We've talked about pre-tax and Roth for optimization so much in the past. I think we're going to skip over it right now, but
just know your numbers. And I'm sure there's a number of podcasts we could link to in the past where you could really nerd out on it.
Yes. Know what I talked about it more recently in just answering a question just on that. So we can link back to that. But I think another thing we should probably look at, that's a benefit that probably recycles about this time of year too. It may not be directly on employee benefits, but it'll be noted on employee benefits, is employee stock purchase plan.
Yeah, I love this one, especially when we're on the topic of leaving money on the table.
Me too.
This is free money.
Yes.
And traditionally, and correct me if I'm wrong, it's a publicly traded company that's going to have the ESPP, right?
Yeah.
So it's savings into your employer's stock, right? Yeah. And so traditionally, when you're buying into that, you're going to be assigned, and it's going to be in your handbook, some sort of discount rate, which means, let's just say you work at Facebook.
Traditionally, it's a 15% discount.
15. I've seen different amounts, but yeah, 15. And so what's nice is you're going to buy that share of that stock for 85 cents on the dollar. And the nice thing with that is when you go to receive the shares, when it's cashed out, you get the full value of that, but you're only paying 85 cents on the dollar. And some people will want to hold it. Again, this fits into your overall financial plan. But one of the ways that we see commonly is we like to call this a glorified savings account.
It's the best savings account there is.
Oh,
if you can sell your stock the moment it's given to you.
There's the caveat, because that stock price is moving, isn't it?
Yes. But here's the idea, right? Let's say that there's only one, you get to do it for the entire year. Normally these happen over a quarterly basis or a semi-annual basis, normally not annual, but let's just make it annual to make it really simple. So, Nick gets to put away, the max they let you do an ESPP is $25,000 in a year. 85% of that's $21,250. So he's going to take $21,250 of his paycheck and go put it away in this account. Now, think of that like a forced savings. So you've just saved $21,250. The moment you get the shares, you get them at, and this is the simple version, you get them at the 85% discount. You get them at 25 grand. Often what companies will do is they'll have a look back period where they'll go,
that's the first.
Which one has a higher value or lower value, the past or the future, and we'll give you the bigger spread.
Because here's the nice thing too, if we go back and we're experiencing a nasty bear market, you're still okay because of that look back period. Your company is still going to look at what was the high water mark or the average during that time. We'll take 15% of that, and you're still going to get 15% above that to that value.
Right. But so what'll happen is you basically get now, let's just say no price change. You get 25 grand of stock and you sell it immediately.
Yep.
So you put away $21,250. You made $3,750 right away. Now you have to pay ordinary income the moment you sell it. Okay. And you're like, that's horrible. Where you literally, you just made 17.5%.
My high yield's doing what, 4.5?
Right. On your money. Now, after tax, if you're in the highest tax bracket, like if you live in the great state of California and you're making over $1 million a year and you're paying 13.3% to the state and you're paying 37% to the Fed, well, you're at over a 50% tax, but you still made over 8% on that money after tax. I mean, that's amazing.
Right. A lot of people don't know about this. Right. Now, you said the big disclaimer here is that once we want to use the word vested, or once it's given to you, whatever that period is, if it's quarterly or annually, you need to be able to turn around and sell that.
Yes.
Right.
And that can be the rub. So one of the things you want to look at if you're going to do this strategy is you want to look at when are the trading windows for my stock. And you might get stuck in a time. And here's the deal. If you do it for a long enough period of time and you employ the exact same strategy, it's probably going to wash out any major discrepancies over time, ideally. But it could work against you. So you have to know that.
Right. But I mean, looking at this just from a high level, hey, do you want an extra anywhere from 8 to 17% on your money that can we even say like risk-free?
I mean, after tax, you're making about, because it was $3,750 and you get to keep about half of it, right?
Yeah,
so
it's a forced savings account.
An extra $1,800.
I love it.
It's not horrible.
No, I'll take it.
Me too.
Yeah. Again, all with the theme of let's not leave money on the table.
Yes. Now, other things that will be on there that are worth looking at, keep going down the list of things that are on there. Do you go to the gym? Oftentimes, did you just take the time to sign up and get the extra $25 that they'll give you for your gym membership?
Yeah.
Right. Do you have, a lot of companies have, if you guys had, maybe you're trying to have kids later in life, fertility treatments are now baked into many, many plans.
Yep.
It's like, there's legal services if you need them. There are nurse lines if you need them. If you have younger kids at home, sometimes there's care lines that you can call to find a babysitter when they're sick at home for the day. Like, there's so much stuff in so many plans, but you just have to take a minute to read yours and look at it. Or you could take yours and load it up into your favorite AI tool and ask it like, hey, here's who I am. And based on my circumstances, what benefits should I look at more deeply? That could be a place to start. And then if you really need help with it, that's what we're here for.
Yeah. We look at it every year with a lot of our clients as they're cycling through their benefits and figuring out how does this plan apply to me for this year. So
yeah. And if you guys are interested in, as you're moving toward figuring out what you need to retire, kind of how much do you need to retire, we have a really simple quiz that you're welcome to take at the bottom of the notes, or at the top of the notes where you're going to see right now. Feel free to click, and we'll be happy to get back to you on what we see. Anything else for today?
No, I'm looking at the waves behind me.
Me too. Well, I'm not right now, but I can. All right, guys, we'll see you later.